All right, welcome back to the channel. On this short video here, whichever way you're listening to this, whether you're listening on the podcatcher or on YouTube, I just wanted to go over what's been going on lately and effectively where we've been and what the plans are now. So, as you guys have known, or at least as I've said in some of the other videos I've done, Dan recently had a second child. Steve's been very busy with his work and some other things that he's been going on with as well. So haven't been able to get the two of them together as much lately. Now, one thing I will say is that we have, now that their schedules have settled as well as mine, and I'll get into that in a moment, that we're getting back to some regular recordings. We're going to be doing that on Sunday evenings, which means you should be getting episodes on Wednesdays most likely. I believe we're starting this Sunday. My hope is this Sunday. If for some reason we can't, then we're going with the next one. We just discussed this the other day, so I don't know their exact intention of when we were going to begin. As for myself, things are fine now, but the beginning of school, some health stuff, all that kind of stuff came in, and it just kind of kept me away for the last few weeks. I know originally I said I was going to go through a deep dive related to all Spire stuff, and I started making some of that. Life got in the way and I just couldn't do it for a little bit. And now, as we sit about middle of the month at your time of listening of this for September, I think about doing those deep dive videos, and I realize now's not a great time for them because the tournament for Conquest is going to be happening later this month, and they've already said and shown a little bit of what they're going to do once that's over. So that they're doing these various updates. We know Fallen Divinity is getting some updates. We know some of the other factions will as well. We know Nords are potentially a big one. I know Wadrun are. And the thing is, if I make something now, it could be like when I did the ones related to Sorcerer Kings, and a few days later, it could all be invalidated or changed. So I think the deep dive stuff, I'm going to wait until once we see that. Now, once we do have that in our hands, I'll be going through and talk about the changes for each faction and then getting into the deep dive videos. Like I said, things are a bit smoother now. So when I sit down to record, I can actually record for, multiple things all at once rather than I tried to find 20 minutes here to do this, that, the other thing. So, 4 things to expect to see from us. Since we're getting back to normal recordings, we'll be getting back to some 30K content, as well as some other things, of course. 30K, I always enjoy talking about it, but we also have to see what we have to talk about. There's other things we still have to go through. Book stuff or newer book stuff sometimes can be tough because we have to get the books because GW doesn't send us anything. So that sometimes can be a little bit of a hindrance, but there's plenty of 30K stuff for us to be able to talk about. All of us do play Conquest, so we obviously have that to talk about as well. And we've had honestly a really great partnership with Parabellum and what they do for the community and for people who talk about their games. Other things that are going on. So we are starting, I believe we're calling it Killtober for Kill Team in October for the new edition of Kill Team. I'm actually currently, front of the house, is my box of Thousand Suns that I'm going to be using as a Warp Coven Kill Team. And I don't know if the other guys are. I think Dan's thinking about it. Steve normally plays at a different store more often than the store that's doing this. So you'll be seeing some coverage of that, especially when once the new rules come out and get rolling on all of that. I at least have been having fun with 40K as well. I know Dan has when he's been able to play. I think he's coming out tomorrow to play some games and all. I'm actually going to probably be testing out some Thousand Suns for that. So you might see a little bit more related to some 40K stuff talked about. Beyond that, whatever else seems of interest. So my hope is now that things are getting better, especially with about another week, I should get done another big project that I'm working on. That means a lot more time to be able to do things for things that have been happening in the meantime. Oh, and some AOS stuff. I recorded some painting videos and discussion videos related to the Ozark Bone Reapers, which I'm going to be putting out hopefully this week. That's the plan for that. I have a little bit more I had to record, but all of that's done. You'll be getting some more, hopefully our first return to episode now that we are back to a normal schedule, or hopefully reasonably normal schedule for you guys. Beyond that, I should be putting out something else. I have a few things in mind. I just don't know which one's going to go first and which ones are going to go later. So I'm going to kind of leave that for the moment. But you should get at least 2 to 3 videos this week, and then, or podcast formats as well. And then hopefully they're going forward at least 1 to 2 things every week. Like I said, things are now in a better spot. I do apologize for us being a bit light lately. Things have been a little bit tough, but we do thank everyone for the support that they show and all of that as well. All right, so I wanted to keep this nice and short. That tells you a little bit about what we're going to do. But as always, put in the comments below, if you're watching on YouTube, the things that you want to hear about, see, anything like that. The hope is to start doing some more battle reports again as well, especially then as people start knowing their schedules a little bit better. So that really helps us out with all of that. All right, keep this nice and short. So on behalf of everyone here at the show, then has a good hobbying. It's a great gaming.